So Shashank, you want to start? Let's start the discussion.
Hey, Offer. Hey. Yeah,
Hi,
sure.
nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Uh,
really nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm Ofer. I'm leading the Global Banking Partnership for Payoneer. You want to have a quick intro to those of you who don't know you?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I am Shashank Kumar, one of the founders of Razorpay. Razorpay provides payment solutions and banking solutions to businesses in India, and we serve businesses of all shapes and size, of different industries and different, be it a freelancer or an SME or enterprise segment, right? Kind of provides a suite of financial products to businesses. And thanks, Offer, for inviting to the session. And yeah, really happy to be here.
Thank you so much for attending. So let's start from you, from talking about you, Shashank, studying in IIT Roorkee and working with Microsoft. What made you go into the hustle of actually creating a payment solution company, and how have been the journey since then?
Right. So, I graduated in 2012 from IIT Roorkee, and me and my co-founder Harshil Mathur, we met in college, and while we were working on a project, and we used to tinker a lot. We used to build a lot of things and put it out there on internet for adoption or for just for fun. Right. So when I went for a job in Microsoft, so I was in Seattle, USA for a couple of years. I think while the job was great, I think both me and Harshil, we wanted to do something on our own. We built and launched a crowdfunding portal to sort of galvanize sort of a donation culture in the country. And as part of that, we stumbled across the payments problem. And this was back in 2013, 14, right? So when we went and applied for a payment gateway, most of the incumbents were more enterprise focused in that time, and we even had questions like, what is our net worth? I mean, whether we are profitable for 3 years and things like that. And we felt like with the internet penetration increasing and with the mobile penetration on an upswing, and there's kind of a startup wave happening in the country, felt like there's a lack of a product focused payments company in the country, and there's a huge scope for it, right? And as startups scale up and as more businesses come online, you need a payment provider, like, who's mobile first, has really extremely good UI UX, right? And has really great onboarding experience and customer support experience to kind of support the new age businesses, right? And that's where we felt like payments is actually a bigger opportunity, in the country, and we kind of uh, have the right mindset. I would say, like, the right engineering or product mindset to go after the problem. So that's how we kind of then went and met a bunch of banks in the country to figure out if we can get a payment gateway license. And we didn't know better. I mean, we were pretty inexperienced back then. So went to bank branches in our local city. I'm from Patna. My co-founder is from Jaipur, and we met a bunch of bankers and asked, like, if you can get a payment gateway license. And most of the folks didn't even know what payment gateway means, actually. And you would usually ask for our background, whether we have any experience in financial domain, and a bunch of those questions, and mostly then shoo us away after some point of time, right? So fortunately, I think, so we would have met like close to 100 people in that journey. Fortunately, we met one person, in HDFC Bank, who was pretty young and who was sort of the right person, and he understood what we are trying to do, and gave us a verbal approval to start up to get that license, and we quit our jobs, and I shifted back to India at that point of time.
So it's a long journey since then. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely.
So let's start to shift the discussion and focusing on startup and enterprises. What are the gaps that you still feel that business banking system do not are not fulfilling for the SMBs? And how do you see Razorpay leveraging these opportunities?
Right. So, if you see how business banking has evolved in India, right? And it's kind of tied up with the banking environment in the country. So in the 80s and 90s, SBI, State Bank of India, which is the largest public, government bank that is there in the country, really pioneered branch banking and opened lots of branches in tier two, tier three cities and took banking to the masses. Right. Then, since 2000s, banks like HDFC and then Kotak Bank have pioneered, what I call relationship banking. Right. So these people actually come to our homes and help us get things done, right, and provide very personalized services, right. But now I think if you look at today's generation, right, today's era, right, there's another shift that is happening. We are primarily mobile first today, right, and our generation, especially the millennials, like don't like interacting with people for a lot of small things and small issues that are there, right. And that is why I feel that now is the right time to take banking to cloud first and mobile first world, okay, and provide the kind of experiences that you would typically expect from a major tech company, right? But kind of mobile experiences and the kind of delightful customer delightful experiences that isn't today possible in banking. And if you look at banking today, most of products that the industry pushes is very sales heavy and very relationship driven. While what we want to create is like we want to help businesses explore any kind of financial product that they want from start to create a lot of awareness around it as well. That if whatever problems that a business faces from a finance standpoint, from a banking standpoint, not just help them solve that, but also educate them as to what kind of solutions are available, how you can do it in an operationally efficient and cost efficient manner, and also do it in a very transparent fashion without any sort of hidden charges or without any sort of what I call like the uh, negative experiences, right, or black pattern designs.
Yeah.
So today in India, I mean, given so many people are coming online for the first time, right, and looking to leverage internet and looking for distribution, looking to leverage technology for efficiency, we see that most of the existing products are not built with that mindset, right? We feel that we can marry the software and the banking space very seamlessly and create the next generation of products that will help businesses move away from human intensive and operations intensive processes to more tech oriented, very digital first and very efficient experiences that will help them cut down on not just cost but also help them leverage technology to scale their businesses, right. So that's what our focus is from a neobanking perspective. And we are very focused on what I say focus on utilizing the bank's account itself, mostly driven through software. Uh, so so how I describe it is, right, what do you use your bank account for? You use it for storing money and otherwise for initiating transactions to pay out to your vendors, to employees, to anyone else, right. But a bank account can be a much way more than that. There's so much data in it, there's so much potential in it, and we feel that, I mean, we are not just providing that bank account for initiating transactions, but also providing the software layer on top of it, which gives you way more context. So eventually, we want to get to a point where we can answer things like, how much runway you have, how much burn you are doing, how much you have paid these vendors, what is the credit cycle of these vendors, right? Much more intelligent questions just on the basis of the usage of the bank account itself, and nothing more. Yeah.
So let's try to shift the conversation into the synergy between banks and fintechs and the value to the customer. What is the value that you think that these partnerships bring between traditional banks and fintechs provide to the customer, and especially to the audience here, which is into cross-border e-commerce business?
So I think we have been working with a variety of banks since the time we started, and we have had very successful partnership with most of the banks. And to be honest, as a fintech provider, we wouldn't exist without the rails that the banking sector puts out for us, right? And I think the synergy that I see is that banks are really good in moving money and regulatory compliance and doing the heavy lifting on the infrastructure perspective, right? While what we do is build a layer on top of it, which is more customer first and mobile first, and we create the customer delight experiences that wouldn't otherwise exist in the ecosystem, right? And we solve for the problems and bring out the industry first solutions to market, like UPI or cross border payments or things like recurring payments. We have been the first ones to pioneer subscription payments in India. Solutions like these, which are otherwise available through banks but are not very accessible, and we make it accessible and we put it out in a package that is very much relevant and very much usable for the customers, right? Especially from a cross-border perspective, especially in last few months, we have seen a surge in not just the SME payments that is happening on the platform, but we are also seeing that cross-border transactions are increasing as well. And I think again, same thing there, that while the large customers have the eyes and ears of the banks and get preferential access and treatment, but the majority of the SMBs don't get that kind of experience from banks, and that is where we strive to create a very uniform and delightful experience for businesses. That in the sense that if you are going cross border, whether doing exports or imports, we can promise that we have got your back, right? And we are building the right partnerships to solve for those problems in the long term.
Sure. So, having seen your unique position that you've really seen SMB transform at a really rapid pace in the recent past, what do you think that will be the defining factors for SMBs, again, especially SMBs that are in the cross-border e-commerce, to succeed and to go ahead?
So I think there are few things. First is branding itself. I feel like when you're going for a global market, I think how you differentiate yourself and how you stand out in a sea of competitors is extremely important. I feel one of the good things that is going for Indian SMEs especially is the cost aspect that is there. I mean, there's an inherent cost advantage of doing exporting from India, which is usually not there in other countries. But having said that, I mean, that mentality, I mean, that can become a limiting factor as well, in that if you're not focused on creating your own differentiation and brand in the market to stand out, right? Second, I would say is focusing on leveraging technology that is available to scale efficiently, right? Otherwise, the way a lot of businesses run in India, especially in the offline world, we kind of spend a lot of time and effort on non-productive operational processes, which are not at all suitable, especially when you're going cross-border and you're exporting worldwide. So you need to figure out how to scale your operations really effectively. I think third aspect is the customer support. Especially in these markets, I think when you're competing globally, the kind of support that you provide to your customers is extremely important, needs to be top notch, and that's a core principle for us also, in the sense that even if we need to spend a little bit more but make our customer support top notch, like we kind of go for it.
Sure. So looking at the future of fintech, what direction do you see fintech and banks, actually the industry moving to? What will be the critical factors in the pace of this development?
I think it's extremely simple. As I said, there are a lot of businesses which are coming online, and a lot of businesses which are expanding as well, right? So in both these things, building out the right products to take care of the needs of the businesses is extremely important, and that is where both fintechs, banks, and the collaboration have to put their minds together to see how they can not move away from the legacy rails and legacy stuff that is there, and adopt and build new products suited to internet, and build from technology first mindset, right? So that movement has already happening. It's kind of getting accelerated because of the pandemic that is there. That because people are not working remotely and relying more on technology for their day-to-day stuff, right? So I think it's already a tipping point from that perspective, and it'll keep on surging further in future.
And you see COVID accelerating this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even for us, I think we have seen almost 25% month-on-month growth in the SME space in past like 3-4 months, and what is happening is that for a lot of SMEs, right, which are reliant on distributing things through offline channels and through offline mediums, that is actually disrupted, right? And they need to now figure out, a lot of SMEs are now coming to us also to figure out how they can reestablish themselves, right, and use internet for distribution, or use technology for running their operations. And I think the business is usually successful in doing that pivot or figuring this out. will be better poised for survival as well as for growth long term, and the others will kind of fall behind.
Sure. Shashak, I would like to thank you for sharing your thoughts and insight with us. We're looking forward to have a mutual, to continue the mutual partnership and helping SMBs grow together.
Thanks a lot, Offer. Thanks. Really happy to be on the show and really happy to speak to the audience.